Radio Entrepreneurs is back on the air. My name is Jeffrey Davis, and welcome to all our listeners. I want to thank again our friends over at MTP Software, the leader in sports CRM in North America. And I want to say hello to our next guest. I'm glad I wore my jacket today. David Fox, owner of David Fox Photography. Hello.
How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. So, let's say I was hiring a photographer. What would I hire David Fox for, and what makes David so special and unique?
What makes David special and unique? That's a really good question. Let's see.
As a photographer.
As a photographer, well, since most of our work is corporate, we do a lot of corporate events, conferences, meetings. We come and we're looking to meet people who really want to have images made that tell stories. And we want to be able to come and work with people, really find out and speak with them about their needs, their concerns, their thoughts. And sometimes they have very clear ideas about what kinds of images they want to have made. And other times they really have general ideas, and we sit and we consult with them and help them through their process.
So how long have you been doing this, and how did you get into it?
Oh, that's a really long story.
Well, you don't have all day.
Oh, I don't have all day. Right. Well, I'll give you the very quick abbreviated version. I've been a photographer for about 45-something years. Grew up started out as a news photographer many years ago. Got studio training along the way. Eventually delved into video back in the early 80s, so I got in when it was very early. And found my way back to still photography after I lost my first wife in 1992 to breast cancer. And I was left with a 1 and 4-year-old. And so, if you do a lot of soul searching, you find out what you're really good at. And that's how I found myself here.
Wow, quite a story. If I were looking at corporate photography and I had something come across my eye and I said, "Oh, that looks like a David Fox." Is there a look? Is there a style?
I'm more of a chameleon. I tend to be one of these type of people where I really listen to what clients' expectations are and what their hopes are and what their thought process is in terms of how they're going to run their event. We do a lot of corporate events, big galas, big nonprofit galas. We do a lot of for-profit galas. We do a lot of conferences. One of the concerns that comes up all the time is we've had photographers we've hired in the past. We feel that many times we don't necessarily get the kinds of images that we really hoped for, that really we can use to brand and market our event well, to attract more sponsors for next year. We want to be able to use it for social media. So I think what we try and do is when we come, we really want to make images that tell stories. We really want to make enough images so that people have lots to choose from, and a lot of images that they can use not only for a one-time use, but on an ongoing basis. And that seems to be a real concern that we've been able to address.
Interesting. Do you work alone?
Oh God, no. It's funny. I'm the front guy. Everybody sees me. We're part of many different professional association groups that we sponsor on an ongoing basis. But everybody sees me. However, I think all entrepreneurs have a team behind them. My wife, Greta, is in the business. She runs the admin side of the business. In other words, she does the paperwork. She keeps everything organized. I also have a team of photographers who we partner with on a regular basis. We've got about a dozen plus photographers that people I've known for many years. They're all professional photographers. They all work in a similar style as me. We also provide video services, and that seems to be a real hot button these days. And let's see what else. We provide live photography. In other words, we'll come and photograph at the event, either print on site, or we will also do what's called social media uploads, where we photograph at, let's say, a step and repeat, which is a background, and people stand and they can either dress up or act funny or silly or look really formal or whatever they want. And then all the images go to iPads, and then right from the event, they can type into the iPads their email, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever they want, and right from the event, the images are sent right into the internet. So we're branding the event as it happens.
So real time.
Real time. And that's also huge these days. And then we also provide drone services, video and photography as well. We have a partner for that as well.
So I remember my first decent camera. I was 16. I was going to be driving a Honda Civic with a buddy right across Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went out and got my Konica camera. And it was the beginning of a lifetime of taking pictures. Now, I wouldn't consider myself in your league. But do you know when the bug hits you? Because I assume, like photographers, I think it is sort of like a bug, isn't it?
Yeah, you get bitten, and it's one of those things that never really heals.
Well, it's like being a cook.
Exactly.
Right. You know,
Exactly.
if that's it's just something you go with.
Exactly.
So talk to us about, when you caught the virus and how it sort of grew in you.
Oh, goodness. I had a wonderful art teacher back in the 7th grade. I grew up in Swampscott, and a gentleman by the name of Joe Zena, who is still around, he provided this after-school program for photography, and he brought us into this little tiny room, and I watched a print come up in the development tray, and I was hooked. I was like, wow, this is magic. And then from that point, a couple years later, as I began my career with a little 127 roll film camera with flash bulbs, I graduated to a little Ricoh 500, and I had a town editor come from the Swampscott Reporter and say, I'm looking for a few good kids to train. This is while I was in junior high and high school. I don't have a budget, but in lieu of that, I will teach you, I will train you. And so I took advantage of that opportunity, and thus began that slow road into working for newspapers. And in my senior year of high school, the Swampscott had a after-school, actually second half of the year program where you didn't have to take classes, but you could take an internship. I was able to intern in a couple of professional photography studios up in Salem, and got trained by two professional photographers who took me under their wing and really taught me about weddings, bar mitzvahs, portraiture, how to work in a darkroom, how to print, all that basic training and understanding that you really need. Now, that all being said, I had another art teacher who I also got bitten by the film bug, so it wasn't just photography. And we were making feature-length Super 8 dramatic films in junior high and high school. And so I got bitten by the bug, which led me to Emerson College, which I graduated in '82 in film production. And I thought I was going to be another Steven Spielberg. And that was around the time when video started coming into play. And so I began to move towards doing video. And we still do video. But in a very different way. I'm not sitting in shopping malls for a week trying to hawk weddings.
Wow. A lifetime of photography. Good for you. Again, we're speaking with David Fox, owner of David Fox Photography. David, if somebody's looking for you, wants to know more about your services, real-time corporate photo imaging, how would they find you?
So we are at davidfoxphotographer.com. Can I get my phone number?
Absolutely. Do it.
Okay, sure. We're located in Brookline, Massachusetts, but we work all over New England. My number is 734-6240.
Only people over the age of 50 give phone numbers.
Exactly. Well, I'm one of those. We're also available by email, info@davidfoxphotographer.com, and Twitter. I'm sure we have a handle, but that's my, I think it's at David Fox Photo or something like that. It's all my digital marketing person. She does all that.
David, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Continued success. Remind everyone this is Radio Entrepreneurs, the one and only. We will be back with more stories.